So Pam Bondi is the Attorney General. We know this. Pam Bondi, she's not off to that great of a start
controversy
in
that's
her
going on.
her Attorney General career. She is focused on prosecuting Tesla protesters, despite the fact that Andrew Tate sexually assaulted a woman when he was imported to the United States by President Donald Trump. I also think that Pam Bondi is a huge piece of shit for not prosecuting Jeffrey Epstein when she was the Florida Attorney General, and there was a very credible case against him for human and sex trafficking. No, she didn't do that. She didn't do that. But instead, she's worried about someone putting their dick on a Tesla. She is talking about the Signal chat controversy. We covered this pretty extensively on the show. Long story short, Pete Hegseth, JD Vance, and all of the other sexless losers in the Trump administration gathered together in an unsanctioned Signal chat to discuss the war crime of bombing Yemen. This is potentially illegal, definitely negligent for having this type of discussion on a channel that could have possibly been hacked, because these were not conducted on public cell phones. These were not conducted on government issued devices. This did not go through any of the proper channels. And there is seemingly mixed messaging about whether or not this information was classified or not. It's hard to say. I would imagine, as like a relative normie, that this type of stuff, that these attack plans, regardless of how non-specific or specific they are, probably lean a little bit closer to classified. And that's not something that you would want the general public to be aware of. That's not, something that you would want a foreign adversary to potentially get aware of. I myself personally don't really give a fuck about this story from the sense of, these people talking about doing war crimes. The bigger issue for me is the fact that these people did a war crime and they bombed Yemen and they killed multiple civilians in this airstrike, and they're cheering it on as a fucking great attack. Well, Pam Bondi was asked by a reporter about the Signal chat controversy and if the DOJ is involved. If so, why? If not, why not? Here she is.
Is DOJ involved at this point? If so, why? If not, why not?
Well, first, it was sensitive information, not classified, and inadvertently released. And what we should be talking about is it was a very successful mission. Our world is now safer because of that mission. We're not going to comment any further on that. If you want to talk about classified information, talk about what was at Hillary Clinton's home that she was trying to bleach bit. Talk about the classified documents in Joe Biden's garage that Hunter Biden had access to. This was not classified information.
So the Hillary Clinton line is very interesting, because I agree what Hillary Clinton did was wrong and she should have gone to prison for it. But they mentioned Joe Biden and they mentioned Joe Biden's classified documents. Now, they hit the Hillary Clinton line because Hillary bad, and yes, certainly Hillary bad. But the Joe Biden mention is interesting because, yes, Joe Biden took classified documents from the White House, as did Donald Trump. Very obviously not a coincidence that they don't mention that. But the difference is that when Joe Biden was approached by the FBI and they told him, hey, Joe, really hate to do this, but you kind of have to give those documents back. They are classified. And he said, you got it, Jack. Here are all my documents. And he gave them back without a fight. Donald Trump, on the other hand, had all of these classified documents. And when he was approached by the FBI, he didn't originally. And then when he did, he only gave back a handful. He only gave back like half at max. Now, both of those instances are wrong, but Joe Biden at least did the thing that he was supposed to do. Donald Trump should be in prison for the classified documents case, very much like how Hillary Clinton should be in prison for the documents case. And of course, they should both be in prison for other reasons as well. But the Hillary line doesn't resonate with anyone who has a little bit of critical thinking ability, because they see this clip And all they can think is that's kind of hypocritical that you're going to talk about Hillary Clinton, who did virtually the same thing, just to a larger degree, as did Pete Hegseth and everybody else. Now, there are, of course, the specifics of whether or not they can have this conversation on this device, and whether or not they are or they're not, there is another aspect of this, and it's that official communications between government officials are supposed to be logged. They're supposed to be recorded. This signal chat was set to disappear after 24 hours. This is like staging a coup via Snapchat. This is like if you were to literally orchestrate January 6th on Snapchat. None of the guys in the group chat logged this information, which is another wrinkle on it.
And we are very pleased with the results of that operation. And that
we are very pleased that we killed innocent civilians in a strike that we did because the Houthis are stopping flow through the Red Sea because the United States is aiding and abetting the genocide of the Palestinian people.
The entire world is safer because of it. Thank you all very much. Thank you for coming.
The signals chat.
She then went on Fox News and hit the fucking Hillary Clinton line again. Dude, give it up. Hillary Clinton has not been relevant in electoral politics in like almost a fucking decade at this point. No one gives a fuck about the Clintons anymore. Like, find a better lie. It would be easier for them to just come together and say, we are going to say this was sensitive information, and while the leak was reckless, there was nothing wrong done here. That would be much more coherent messaging. But they keep fucking talking about Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden when no one gives a fuck about them anymore. I just hate Pam Bondi. I think that she's a loser who is talking about keeping the world safe when, again, she refused to prosecute Jeffrey Epstein. She refused to prosecute one of the most prolific sexual criminals in recent memory. I would, dude, if I were a reporter, I would be so annoying. They would not let me in the White House because I would straight up ask her, like, are you not going to prosecute any of these people just like you didn't prosecute Jeffrey Epstein, even though there are ways for you to go after both of these people? I ultimately don't give a fuck that, these people had this discussion. I'm more so concerned about the content of the discussion. So if these guys should be prosecuted, it should obviously be for war crime purposes. But I believe in my heart that the majority of people in that group chat will not make it to the end of 2025 as a member of Trump's cabinet. Really, the only person would probably be J.D. Vance. I think Stephen Miller will make it as well. But all of the new people that got appointed, Pete Hegseth, Tulsi Gabbard, I don't see them making it a full year in Trump's cabinet. This is he had tremendous turnover in his first term, especially at the Department of Defense. I think he had 4 or 5 of them. So Pete Hegseth is just the first of many.